Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
And Kevin is special. I have to tell you, I came for Kevin. I've been here for Kevin. I asked Kevin to do it. He was the one that could do it. He's the one that you love in this state. And I said, it's time. And I think you're going to do fantastically well. And you know how well he's doing. He's really doing a fantastic job.
Remarks today from President Donald Trump as he made a stop at the Delta by Marriott in Fargo to campaign for U.S. Senate candidate Kevin Cramer. Trump landed at Hector International Airport just before the noon hour, where he was greeted by nearly 250 friends, family, and members of the military. Governor Doug Burgum and First Lady Catherine Helgas Burgum, as well as Senator John Hoeven and his wife Mikey, and North Dakota State Senator Kelly Armstrong were among those greeting Trump when he flew in. And the president arrived at the fundraiser ready to stump for Cramer in his bid for a U.S. Senate seat.
Thank you. I know you all came to hear a long speech from your congressman. Thank you for that welcome, and thank you all for your tremendous support for me in our candidacy. And I want to say to our president, welcome back to North Dakota. Yeah.
Joining us now with more on Trump's visit is Valley News Team's Christine Stanwood, who was there for the event. Christine?
Yeah, Andrea, it was a whirlwind of a day as President Donald Trump made his second visit to Fargo in just 10 weeks. The president touched on a number of different topics, from farmers to trade and economic growth. But the commander-in-chief wasn't afraid to take a few swipes at former President Obama's speech that happened earlier today, claiming it was a good sleep aid.
What do you think of President Obama's speech? And I said, I'm sorry, I watched it, but I fell asleep. I found he's very good for sleeping. I think he was trying to take some credit. He was trying to take credit for this incredible thing that's happening to our country.
Jabs aside, today was focused on Congressman Kevin Cramer in his campaign against incumbent Democratic Senator Heidi Heitkamp.
So we want to have strong borders, and that's Kevin. We want to have no crime. That's Kevin Cramer. We want to have, we're going to have totally protected Medicare. We're going to protect our Social Security. That's Kevin. The Democrats are going to destroy your Social Security.
Heitkamp responded to today's fundraiser in part by saying nothing is more emblematic of what's at stake in this race than the president escalating the trade war en route to $1 million closed-door fundraiser for Kevin Cramer. Andrea, coming up tonight at 6, I'll go over what the day was like outside of the hotel with those supporters and protesters.
All right, thanks, Christine, for that live report. With all the commotion around the president's visit to Fargo today, we were able to grab an interview with Trump before he gave his speech at the fundraiser. Valley News Team's Chris Burr got a one-on-one with the president as he discussed issues such as Obama, farming, and trade.
Two, he suggested that you're using fear to divide America in order to hold power. Your reaction is what?
Well, I sort of watched that speech, and I must tell you, I sort of dozed off. I dozed off watching him. I've always sort of dozed off watching him.
We will have more from Chris Berg and his interview with the president tonight at 6 o'clock on Valley News Live. And with the president in town, anti-Trump protesters gathered on the sidewalks near the Delta by Marriott Hotel until the motorcade took off. The group called the protest the Kavanaugh rally in light of Trump's Supreme Court Justice nominee, Brett Kavanaugh, saying one of their main concerns with Kavanaugh is if he comes into power, and that would be the issue of women's rights.
We're out here today to register our extreme displeasure. Access to abortion is very important. It's necessary. It's a healthcare procedure. It's a decision for a woman and her doctor, and not for a bunch of old men.
I mean, I don't support Trump. I don't support anyone really in his administration, and I can't even think of anything positive that they've done since he's become president.
There were about 40 to 50 protesters at the anti-Trump rally this afternoon, most saying they were happy with the turnout for a weekday during working hours. The weather didn't pose any problems for Air Force One getting in or out of Fargo. It's pretty quiet out there. Hutch, not expecting any weather disruptions for Friday night football games either?
Well, for some, the footballs may be a little on the wet side tonight, particularly in northwest Minnesota, where we once again have scattered showers and a few rumbles of thunder in the far northern Red River Valley. So bring the umbrella. Things could be a little damp in our northwestern Minnesota counties and in the Northern Valley. Taking you in a little closer, these extend from the Pembina area through southern Kittson County, and those have a little bit of lightning, but as far as a hail or severe threat, just not there tonight. Here in Fargo, quiet and mostly clear. Temperatures slipping into those low 60s by later tonight. There'll be a southeast breeze at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Grand Forks, most of the showers tonight should stay to your north as temperatures slip into the lower 60s as well. So most of us stay dry, but if you're in northwest Minnesota, bring the umbrella along. Your weekend outlook is coming up here in just a couple of moments.
All right, thanks, Hutch. It's time to take a look at this week's Valley's Most Wanted. Jermaine Ellington is wanted in Cass County for interfering with an emergency phone call, offering to hire someone to engage in sexual activities, and giving false information to police. You can call your local law enforcement if you have any information on Ellington. One man is behind bars accused of going into a Glendon mobile home and sexually assaulting a 4-year-old girl. 26-year-old Dakota William Michael Moran is charged with attempted burglary and criminal sexual assault. Valley News Team's Maddie Gelseth has more details.
Living in a little town, you kind of think you have safe doors, and I didn't really keep it locked and stuff.
Bobby Baskerville says she knew of the accused Dakota Moran, but says he's never been in her mobile home before.
I'm just real scared. Just luckily things didn't go worse.
That was until Moran walked into the living room and allegedly touched her 4-year-old daughter, who was sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, he was a pervert.
Baskerville said Moran was in the home for about 30 minutes when her husband chased him outside. That's when they called Glendon police, who went searching for Moran.
We found him just east of Highway 336, hiding in a soybean field.
Bobby Baskerville says her 4-year-old daughter is doing okay, and she's grateful that the police were on this case so quickly to apprehend Moran.
But definitely gonna keep it locked and change everything.
In Glendon, Maddie Gelseth, Valley News Live.
Dakota Moran is in the Clay County Jail awaiting formal charges. Authorities in Polk County are looking for a man involved in a burglary in northern Minnesota. The victim identified the suspect as 33-year-old Todd Allen Bergerson of Foston. According to the Polk County Sheriff's Office, deputies were dispatched Wednesday morning at 3:30 on a report of a burglary at a residence in Lengby. And when deputies arrived, they learned a male suspect had entered the residence and fled shortly after. Authorities have issued a warrant for his arrest. Anyone with information is asked to call the Sheriff's Office at 218-281-0431. A former student at UND who was arrested for selling drugs out of her dorm room pleaded guilty today. 19-year-old Kelly Garrison avoided additional jail time by pleading guilty to a felony charge of possession of LSD with the intent to sell. She was sentenced to 2 years of probation and 250 hours of community service as part of a plea deal. The felony charge will be dropped from her record in 2 years if she successfully completes probation. A man is now in custody after allegedly robbing a Jamestown gas station. 34-year-old Travis James Alcock of Valley City was on the run after, again, allegedly robbing the super pumper on Wednesday. Police say Alcock was arrested in Clay County this morning. The employee at the store was not hurt. There's no word if any formal charges have been filed. A Minnesota man has pleaded guilty to stalking charges after police say he would threaten to rape, torture, and kill women. 43-year-old Eric Ronald Boldan of Rochester pleaded guilty yesterday to 3 counts of stalking and 3 counts of interstate communications. According to prosecutors, Boldan created postings of pornographic or on pornographic sites that included the victims' names, non-pornographic photos of them that he found online, and pornographic images that resembled the victims. He is scheduled to be sentenced on November 29th. 32 years ago, an F-4 Hooligans heart flight saved this man's life, Andrew De La Pena. The flight transported a heart in a cooler all the way from Fargo to California in the middle of a blizzard. Saturday, the Fargo Air Museum will honor the heart flight and the pilot at 4:30, and Andrew will be at the event, thanking them for his life.
I would have no other connection of Fargo, North Dakota, except for this. But every time I've come here, I've had a great time, and the people are so kind and generous, and it's really a lovely place.
At 10, Valley News Team's Maddie Gelset will show us the backstory of Andrew De La Pena and how he's doing today. The one and only Cher will be coming to the Xcel Energy Center in St. Paul on Saturday, May 18th of next year for her Here We Go Again tour. Cher made her tour announcement during an appearance on The Ellen Show. Tickets go on sale Friday, September 14th at 10 in the morning on livenation.com via Ticketmaster. The Ticketmaster website indicates the seat prices range from $55 all the way up to $500.